Naomi Cooke Johnson joins us on the Music Universe podcast.
Hey, buddy, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. The jackhammering strikes again.
Yeah. Why don't you tell everybody at home what that means?
Well, you might see a few episodes here coming out where I can't participate in the actual interview because my apartment is doing renovations. I think we mentioned this. I think the episode with Heath Wright, we also kind of gave this disclaimer. But my apartment where I have my home studio is doing renovations. And my unit is a really good unit, but I'm right across from the elevators, which means that I'm directly above the lobby. And they're jackhammering, and the compressor reverberates up into my unit, and there's no quiet spot in the apartment for me to be able to plug in the gear. And I don't want to do anything where I'm not sitting in front of this. As it is, when I visit my family home and I have to do it with the typical, Zoom background, I'm not thrilled. So, I'd rather just let you, buddy, go ahead and take care of those, and then I'll hop on with you and talk about it. So, how was it? How was the conversation?
Naomi was great. Now, it's a little different here. You're going to see me on video, her on the phone. She just had a baby recently and wasn't available to join me via video. But we're going to do something that we've not done before and do kind of a split episode with partial, video of at least me asking the questions and then her response with a photo. But, many may recognize that name. She was the lead singer for Runaway June for several years when they first came out. Now she's gone solo. She's got a new deal with BMG BBR Music Group. And oh my God, I don't know if you've heard her new single called Girls of Summer, but it is so catchy. It's constantly in my head. And we talk a good probably 20, 25 minutes. And she's got new music out today as we're airing this. It's called Livin' Ain't Killed Me Yet. And we wanted to bring the interview on the day the new music drops. And, without further ado, let's let her explain how the transition from Runaway June to solo artist and being a mother and a wife now just will impact her music. So here we go. Naomi Cooke Johnson, welcome to the Music Universe. How are you?
Hello, I'm so good. Thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely. Well, first things first, let's start with the big congrats on the marriage and the new baby.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Life is in session.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
How's let's just get started with that. How's motherhood?
Oh my gosh, it's everything. It's wonderful. It's freaking terrifying. It's so much adjustment and just bliss, and I mean it's everything all at once. It's awesome. I couldn't imagine anything better, honestly. Makes me feel alive.
Yeah, they are a lot of work. Mine just turned 13.
Oh my God, it's the most work. It's the most work I've ever done. I'm so tired. I'm so happy. I'm so exhausted. I mean, every single word for tired there is, that's what I feel. It's so much work, but I mean, gosh, it's also so rewarding. I'm 10 weeks postpartum right now. And so I'm just now getting to where I'm feeling like my head is a little bit more above water, and I can kind of be like, oh my God, this is wonderful. Cause the first couple of weeks were brutal.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Hopefully you're in that time period where they're going to sleep a little bit more.
Yeah. Yes. She's finally sleeping a little bit more. And, but my gosh, I would rather spend my sleepless nights with her for sure.
Awesome. Well, I'm sure some songs are going to be inspired by her.
Oh, yes. Yeah, definitely. I definitely am feeling, every mother, every parent kind of says this, but like life really, really does take on a new meaning. You look through everything through a different lens, and it just changes. It changes everything. I mean, I'm a completely different person than I was before this. So it absolutely will change my writing and just what it means to put songs out, what it, why I'm doing it. And it just has changed everything. So I'm definitely inspired by her.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you, I'm digging the new music. Girls of Summer is like in
Thank
my
you.
head
Oh, thank
constantly.
you.
I can't get it out whenever I hear a clip. I usually go to YouTube and just fire the video
Oh
while
my
I'm doing
God.
news or
So
whatever. I mean,
all 20 views are from you, huh?
probably. That's a good thing, right?
Absolutely. I'll take it.
So, the song is out via BBR Music Group and Stony Creek Records. You're a solo artist now. Tell us about
Yeah.
that process, and then we'll get into those songs a little more.
The process of me being a solo artist or the process of making the music?
Yeah, so going from Runaway June to a solo artist,
Oh,
how
okay.
how did that come about? If you can tell that story, and
Yeah.
how exciting is that?
Oh, it's so exciting. I just, I loved being in that band. I started that band. I was the lead singer for 7 years. We did amazing things together, high achievements, and lots of high fives.
Hmm.
And honestly, I had always planned to do a solo project from the very beginning that I started Runaway June. And it literally, it came to a time where it just felt like it was time for me to tell my own stories. And Runaway June, it was just a different thing. We had different stories to tell there. It was three people,
Hmm.
looking at life through three different perspectives. And it was beautiful writing music like that and putting it out and being able to perform it and be in that band was so rewarding. I loved it. It was just time for me to do my own thing. And it just felt like the right time. And it was, it totally was. So I transitioned into being a solo artist, and I had been writing a lot of music for this project while I was in the band. And yeah, it just felt when it came to cutting this music, it just was obvious that it wasn't Runaway June music. And
Hmm.
instead of forcing the girls in the band to put this music out, I just knew it was time for me to record them myself. And so I did, and I signed a new deal with Broken Bow, and I struck out on my own, and it's been extremely fun. I mean, what an experience! It's been such an experience.
Yeah, and so back to the process of the writing music aspect. You're not doing it solo though, right? You're teaming up with people, and now you, like you said, you get to tell your own stories.
Yeah, I'm teaming up with people. I have such a dense, incredible community of songwriters here that I've invested in those relationships for over 13 years now in Nashville. And when I told my friends and a lot of the community that I was doing a solo project, people just they raised their hand to be in it and took a chance on me. When I first started out, I was like, I don't really know what this is yet, and I just need to have a moment to kind of figure out what that is and dare to suck. And I mean, I had so many people be like, yeah, you're safe with me. Like, let's throw paint at the wall. Let's figure it out. And so I felt like a tremendous amount of space and understanding and people just getting on board to kind of help support me where they could to try to figure out what it was. And I had an idea. I was at a point where I knew myself the best that I ever had as an
Hmm.
artist, as a person, as a performer. And I definitely had an idea and an aim in my own mind and in my heart and creatively. And so I was able to convey it a little bit, but I was also kind of like, I need space to kind of make it. And yeah, I have a ton of people here that have just gotten on board, and they got me right away. They were like, oh no, we get what you're doing.
Hmm.
So yeah, I've been co-producing every single song and co-writing a ton. There's such a rich well of talented writers, so I don't want to miss out on that. I wouldn't for the world.
Oh yeah, Nashville's just wonderful. I lived there for a couple of years trying to pursue it too for drumming,
Wow.
and
Oh wow.
it's just so integrated with people from all over with that same dream, and you just never know who you're going to meet. I mean, I know you started out at Tootsie's. My first night moving to town, I got to sit in with a band in the back room of Tootsie's when it was, still the
Oh
one
yeah,
level there.
the Orchid Lounge. Yes,
Yeah,
I played there many times. Yeah,
yeah. So
that
just,
was like the audition room.
oh
That's where
yeah,
people could like jump in and jam, and you could be like, yeah, yeah.
yeah. And
I remember that.
then you could walk right out back, and there was the Ryman. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just, Nashville's a fascinating place. And when you were doing your late night gigs at Tootsie's, were you in the front there, or was it the newly remodeled version of it?
So no, I did. I sang at both. So I sang at the old version, and then while they were kind of remaking, they had a bunch of staff musicians that would just rotate between Honky Tonk Central, which is no longer there anymore, and Rippy's, which is across the street, and Tootsie's. And so they owned all three. And I started off in the back lounge because that was like where, the people getting their feet wet would start.
Yeah.
And then I moved. I did a few. I didn't do too many in the front. I kind of went over. I did probably, I don't know, like a few weeks in the front lounge, kind of in and out. And then where I really started to kind of get my feet wet performing for the big crowd was at Honky Tonk Central and
Yeah.
Rippy's. And I mostly went back and forth there. The tips were better there, honestly.
Well,
So I would always ask to be in those two bars. And, Tootsie's has this like really cramped kind of legendary feeling. But you can't get as many people in there, so it was like legendary to be on that stage in there, and I'm really happy I got to do it before it changed. I mean, it's completely different now, but
yeah.
yeah. So I went back and forth between those three, and then I played at Tootsie's in the airport. Have you ever been in the Nashville airport? That Tootsie's place where
I've been by it. Yeah.
Okay,
I've been
yeah.
by it.
Yeah, I got a tip from a friend who was like, "Hey, you should come try the airport. It's a really great gig." And I was like, "Really?" And they were like, "Yeah, it's a really great gig." And I was pretty worn out from the bar scene down there. I'd been doing that for about a year and a half. And I needed that time. I needed that time because I'd only been gigging on my own with me and my guitar prior to that. So I got to learn how to perform with a live band, which is just invaluable.
Right.
Without hiring my own guys and everything, it was like, man, I got to learn how to do that and entertain big crowds, and got kind of kicked in the deep end, and you get your hard knocks there. And so I had been doing that for about a year and a half, and I was also cleaning houses on the side and trying to write music and get a publishing deal. And I was nannying too, and waitressing. I was doing everything. I was doing everything I could.
Wow.
And so my friend tipped me off. She was like, "You should come over here and do like a 5-hour shift with me." And so I was like, "Okay." And she was right. It was just so much more mellow. It was kind of back to that singer-songwritery, just me and my guitar. And the people that are coming in there, a lot of them don't get a chance to go into town and see Nashville. So it's just like a little taste of what this town is.
Yeah.
And they're so excited. I mean, they bought my demos, and they tip you so well, and they request songs. It's really engaging, and I loved it. And that was I got a record deal while I was playing that gig in the airport.
Oh, wow. And then that's how Runaway June came about?
Yep. And like 1 month later, I was still cleaning houses. I signed my record deal. I was cleaning houses and nannying and playing that gig. And 1 month after I quit that gig, I was walking through the airport with my guitar on my back, headed to radio stations. And
Nice.
I just was like, man, what a story. Like, what a lot, you know what I mean? Like, I see other kids in there all the time, and I stop and listen and tip them and talk to them. It's pretty cool.
Well, you've definitely lived the Nashville singer-songwriter lifestyle, and you've branching back out on your own with Girls of Summer. What a perfect introduction as a solo artist. I mean,
Thank you.
Summer, it drops,
God,
it's
thanks.
catchy, and it's poppy, but it's still country. So I commend you
Thank you.
and the ladies of Runaway June for keeping it country
Mm.
when you guys were always, kind of more about the traditional side
Yes.
of the musicianship rather than the poppy side. So what made Girls of Summer become, I guess, the anthem of your summer
Oh,
and introduction?
well, thank you so much for the kind words. Putting out a song as a solo artist is so nerve wracking. And I just had to remember, like, to be true to myself and it would be fine.
Mm-hmm.
So Girls of Summer is about girls of summer. I'm so inspired by the people that come to our shows and I haven't played a show as a solo artist yet, but I've done years and years on the road.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm always inspired by the ladies because, it's so funny. Like the guys come to the shows to follow the ladies,
Right.
And it's like, man, if you can get the girls there, like everyone else is coming and they're just, the country audience is so free and fun loving and like a little rowdy and rebellious. I'm so inspired by them. And so I wanted to put a song out about them, but also Girls of Summer, you can kind of feel it. It's about me too. I'm revealing
Mm-hmm.
myself in that song. And I wanted people to kind of be like, who is Naomi? Who is Naomi on her own? And so instead of coming out with a love song, I wanted to display myself, and express myself in a song. And out of all the songs that I had written, Girls of Summer kind of raised it. It really was the right one for me to show who I am. And in that time, I threw it back. I was listening to like a ton of like 80s rock and 80s pop, and like some of the best songs of all time are from that era. And so
Mm-hmm.
I just got really inspired by Springsteen and Def Leppard and, older Shania Twain and how all those sounds kind of like mixed together. And so my sound kind of started to emerge. And that's why there's like it does kind of have like a little bit of like an 80s pop feel mixed with country. So,
Right.
Yeah, that's how it came about.
And what's the response been like with fans and radio and just the industry in general too?
Honestly, like kind of really surprising. I had no expectations of what it would be when I put the song out. I think that was, a protective mechanism, but I also am like, I don't have any expectation. Like whatever happens with this is what it's supposed to happen. And I got a crazy feedback. I have never had an experience like that with a song, even in Runaway June. I just had never had that many of my peers text and call and message me and saying like, this song fucking slaps. Oh, I'm sorry if I can't cuss on here.
You're fine.
I got so many people that weren't even a part of the project at all. Like
Mm-hmm.
DM me. It was a lot of my peers, other artists and writers here in town. And yeah, it was crazy. It's been wonderful. I think people really, really loved it.
Yeah, well, definitely. And I know you have more music on the way. Is there an
do.
album coming?
Yes, there's a full-length album coming. I'm getting really close to being done recording it, and these things just take time, and I want to take my time with it. Yeah, there's a full-length record coming probably early next year,
Okay.
and they're full of songs just like Girls of Summer.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Are you one to record like a bunch of songs and then kind of narrow it down to 12 and then leave some kind of on the cutting room floor?
Yeah. I think I have done that already. But I'm super, super sure of what I want this record to say. So I'm not over recording.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of did the narrow down process. I always demo songs. So I feel like with the exception of a few, the demos are really close to what the record will be like. And then those other songs, I re-demoed them to sound more like a record and to see if they would fit. So I'm going to do less of like recording them professionally and then kind of narrowing them down. I feel like I've already done that. So there's about there's about 15 out of 12 that are on, that are still kind of making their way and finding their way through the lineup. But I'm not going to record like 50 and then narrow it down to 12.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm so sure of what this record is going to represent and what it will be that I don't need to like throw that much paint at the wall.
Oh no, you'd have like 4 albums worth of material for sure.
Yeah. Which is fine, you know, and I think that some of those songs that I wrote might make their way into another record.
Oh yeah.
But, yeah,
always progressing.
They always do. Yeah.
Yeah. And since you said you haven't played a solo show yet, are you working on some of those perhaps?
Yeah. Yeah. My first love is performing. And I really love the creative process of making music, but it's definitely a different hat that I have to put on. I love performing. It's my favorite thing to do. So in this album is being curated around my live show. That's how much I care about the show, is like, I want this album. I want people when they're listening to this record to just want to buy a ticket to come and see me and hang out. And when you're listening to this record top to bottom, you're going to feel like you're at a show and you're going to really want to come and see it live. So that's kind of what, that's my goal with this, is like, I want these songs. I want my live show to be so fun, and I want to be able to play all these songs at the show. So that's what I'm working on right now. And I'm always writing down ideas and like putting them in my notes of like what to do in the show and what I kind of want it to be like, and song lineups. And, but I probably won't play a show until early next year.
Okay.
Just because I had a baby, I'm spending time with her. My husband is going on tour. I'm going to be on tour with him with a lot of those dates, and I want the show to be right. I want the music to be right, and it's worth waiting. I may do a couple things here, like Whiskey Jam really wants me to play, and but we'll see. It's not a definite. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see when I'm ready to get back in the saddle.
Well, hopefully you'll come through Bakersfield. That's where I'm at.
Oh, for sure. Oh my God, I love Bakersfield. I love performing at Bakersfield.
Yeah, side note, when you guys, when Runaway June had popped in for like an appearance at KUZZ, I was working upstairs.
Oh.
And I hit Brent up. I'm like, hey, can we say hi? And I went and got my daughter out of school early, and I'm like, let's go. So we were waiting outside the studio and got a picture with you guys.
Oh my God, I remember this.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Oh my gosh, yes, yeah. I do remember this.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you reminded me. Yeah.
Yeah, that was us.
Oh, tell her I said hi. What's her name again?
Jessie.
Oh my gosh, how old was she? 9 or 10?
Probably 9. She just turned 13.
Okay. Oh my gosh, yeah, I remember.
She's a singer. She likes to sing too. And we actually saw you guys with Carrie Underwood and Maddie and Tay.
When we were in Bakersfield.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
So
we performed there with at the Crystal Palace with John Party too. That was a while ago.
Oh, I missed that one. But I just happened to be
tell her
off.
That I said hi.
Oh, I will. I just happened to be off work when you guys did your showcase for the station.
Oh my
and
God.
then I'm like, I'm catching them next time they come. And it just happened to.
Oh, Brent, I love that family. Oh, I can't wait to come see you guys.
What's your husband's band?
My husband's band is called Boys Like Girls. They are they are like a emo punk pop band, and they are doing a big tour right now.
Nice.
So it'll be fun. He's always come out on the road with me, and he's always like, he's so good about that. He's also a songwriter and a producer. He produces music for other artists, and so during the time that I was touring with Luke and Carrie and doing my tour, he would come out and see me, and so now it's my turn to go and hang out with him on the road, and it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
And your daughter's gonna have the best of both worlds: a little rock influence, a little country influence.
Yeah. If you ever listen to pop music in the day, you would probably know his stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I'm more into like the 80s. They call it hair metal.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah. So Poison, Bon Jovi, Motley Crue, all of those are.
You know,
kind of right
someone
up there.
told me that my music, this next song that's coming out, Living Ain't Killed Me Yet, sounds like a mix between Shania Twain and Bon Jovi.
Oh, nice.
I was
Nice.
like, that is the highest compliment I've ever received, ever.
Well, I since you said that, I have to ask you. That's also the title of a song that is pretty rockin' from Reba from a few years ago. It's not the same one, is it?
Really?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No, it's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah. It's a pretty rockin' song from her, and it's always stuck in my head. So when you said it's kind of a combination, I'm like, well, maybe it's the same one.
Wow, I'm gonna have to look that up. I didn't know that. Reba put one of the songs that I wrote on hold last year. I don't know if she's ever gonna record it, but
Oh, nice.
yeah.
Wow.
That was the craziest call I've ever gotten. I was like, wow, this is surreal.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
gonna look that up. No,
yeah.
I didn't know. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. Well, that just gave me
Let's see what it
chills
sounds
when you
like.
said that she put your song on hold, because I'm a
I know.
huge fan of hers. So, and I know a new
Oh, me
album
too.
next year, I believe. So that would be cool. I'll have to look for the songwriting credits and see if it's
Oh my gosh.
on there.
Yeah. That'd be
Awesome.
sick.
Awesome. Well, Naomi, I appreciate the time. Anything else you want to add?
No, I think we covered it. Thank you so much,
Awesome.
buddy.
Oh, absolutely.
Great conversation as always.
Thank you.
You're very good solo. I'm very good solo, but we're the best when we're together. And I enjoy doing these interviews with you. It's killing me. I emailed my building. I said, hey, I'm a work from home journalist, which did you ever hear about that before 2020? I said,
Yeah, really.
I'm a work from home journalist. I need to know. And it has just worked out that we've had these things scheduled, and all of a sudden I wake up and I hear, I'd much rather put Naomi's music on and drown it out. That's what I think I'll have to do.
Oh my
next
gosh.
time.
Yeah. So, I mean, as you heard her say, it's been well received, and looking forward to more of her music, and can't wait for that debut solo album on a major label to drop soon. Hopefully next year, I believe she said. So very
Awesome.
excited about that. Want to thank Naomi and everyone involved for setting that up. Definite pleasure chatting with her.
Awesome. Well, for the Music Universe podcast, I'm Matt.
And I'm Buddy. Thanks for listening and watching. Be sure to hit like, subscribe, and share, and follow us on socials at The Music Uni. And be sure to check us out at themusicuniverse.com and tmupod.com. Take care.